Hello, friends, and welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading the book Amy Wu and the Perfect BAO. This book is written by Kat Zhang and it's illustrated by Charlene Chua. So this is the front cover, this is the back cover, and this is the spine. And you can see the spine says Amy Wu and the Perfect BAO. Okay, friends, let's get started. Amy Wu and the Perfect BAO. This is the title page. Amy Wu and the Perfect BAO. Amy Wu can do a lot of things. Well, look, she's standing on her head. She can brush her teeth. She can tie her shoes. She can even do both at once. Sort of. Like she's tying her shoe while brushing her teeth, while standing on one foot. It's pretty impressive. But there's one thing Amy cannot do. She cannot make the perfect BAO. Here's the perfect BAO, and there's a dragon around it. She's looking up at it with the cat. Sometimes they come out too small. How small it is. The ant can even carry it. And sometimes they come out too big. Look, it's so big, she has to carry it with both hands. Sometimes she adds too much filling, so it's popping out. And sometimes not enough filling. The cat's wondering, where's the filling? And sometimes they fall apart before they reach her mouth. Amy's mom and dad make perfect BAO. So does her grandma. Their BAO are soft and fluffy and so delicious. Here it is right here. Amy could eat them all day. Look, there's a fan. Here's a sign that says do not disturb. And she could just sit there and eat them all day. Today, Amy is going to do it. She's going to make the world's most perfect BAO. BAO making is an all-day event. Here it says perfect BAO plan. Amy, and she's going to put the ingredients together and she's going to make the best BAO. Amy's dad starts in the morning mixing together the ingredients for dough. Then it's time to knead. He pushes the dough. He punches the dough. And Amy gives it a try too. Then they leave the dough to rise. Amy keeps an eye on it just in case. It grows bigger and bigger and even bigger. Look how big it's getting. Amy's dad squishes the dough down just in time. He rolls it into a log and he cuts it into pieces. Meanwhile, Amy's mom seasons the meat for the filling. Well, it looks like there's some meat, there's ginger, salt and pepper, garlic, and mushrooms. Everyone gathers around the table and rolls up their sleeves. It's time to get to work. Amy's first BAO turns out a little funny, and so does the second one. It's hard to know how much filling to add. Too little, and the BAO is sad and empty. But too much, and oops, look, the meat fell, and the cat's going after it. It's also hard to pinch the BAO. Shut, just right. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Amy watches her mom make a perfect BAO. She watches her dad make a perfect BAO. And she watches her grandma make a perfect bow too. They all tried to teach her. Roll out the dough like this, said Amy's dad. And use just enough filling, says Amy's mom. Pinch, 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 says Amy's grandma. But Amy's bow just aren't the same. They're too empty, or they're too fat, or they have holes in them, and then they leak out. Maybe today won't be the day after all. Maybe Amy just can't make a perfect bow. Then Amy has an idea. The pieces of dough were cut for grown-up hands, but Amy's hands are very small. She whispers her idea into her grandma's ear. Amy's grandma cuts each piece of dough into two smaller pieces, Amy-sized pieces. Now they fit perfectly in Amy's palms. Amy carefully rolls the dough so it's thicker on the inside and thinner on the edges. She adds just the right amount of the filling, and then she pinches it shut. And there it is, Amy's perfect bow. Wow, look at that. She must be so happy. She makes another and another and even more after that. Oh, look, there's one on the cat's head. She's a bow making master. Soon all the dough and filling are gone. Everyone is tired, but they're not done yet. Amy's grandma boils a big pot of water. It's time to steam the bow. Amy keeps an eye on the steamer just in case. All her perfect bow and all the imperfect ones too are snug inside. Like she's reading a book. But is she reading it right? Nope, it's upside down. The bow are done. Amy's mom lifts the lid off the steamer. Whoosh! Out comes a puff of steam. Amy can't see anything at all. The steam clears. There are Amy's perfect bow. They're not too small. They're not too big. They have just the right amount of filling, and they do not leak. They are soft and fluffy and so, so delicious. Amy eats one and then another one, and then she eats one of the not so perfect bow. And you know what? It tastes just as good. Ooh, what did she do? Looks like she brought it into her class and they're all sharing some of it. Even the cat and her teacher's eating one too. And here is the family recipe. So this recipe calls for yeast, water, flour, baking powder, salt, sugar, milk, and vegetable oil for the dough. And then the filling calls for shrimp, pork, eggs, rice wine, sesame oil, soy sauce, fish sauce, pepper, ginger powder, mushrooms, garlic, and ginger. Oh, and here's one more bow. The end. And here is a picture of the author, Kat Zhang. And here is a picture of the illustrator, Charlene Chua. Oh, what's on the back cover? It looks like she's throwing her family a bow. The end. So this book was called Amy Wu and the Perfect Bow. Thanks for coming to Storytime, friends, and I'll see you next time.